Hey, show.
Today we're looking at the 27th book of the Bible, which is
Daniel.
So I thought we'd start with some riddles today. Okay, so I've got some what am I riddles, and you've got to guess what I am. Okay. I'm an animal that you might love, but I'm too big to be your pet. I have an extremely long trunk, but it's said I never forget.
A long trunk. That's a good clue.
Yeah.
Is it an elephant?
It is an elephant. I like to use my long tongue to eat leaves from tops of trees. I don't have to climb up though, with my long neck it's a breeze.
Giraffe.
One of these is Cupid, but it doesn't have a bow. Instead it pulls a sleigh through the air and lands on snow.
Reindeer.
Correct! My wings are used as slippers, so in water I can flow. Sometimes when on land I slide on my belly in the snow.
Penguin.
Yeah!
Oh, hey, these are good.
You might be called this animal if someone thinks that you're afraid. This is something that you might eat, as well as its eggs that it laid.
A hen.
Yeah, chicken.
Oh, chicken. I was thinking a scaredy cat and then realised that cats don't lay.
Well, okay, this I think is my favourite. This provides meat that you would eat when breakfast you are making, and chicken is what gives the eggs, and this is what gives bacon.
A pig.
Right.
Of course, it's to do with bacon if it's your favourite.
Yeah. Okay, last one. I'm known as a king. The jungle's where I reign. It's hard to tame me, and I have a large mane.
Lion.
Correct. Listen out for a lion as we learn a bit more about what Daniel's all about.
3 key phrases from the book of Daniel: captive witness, loyalty to God, and coming kingdoms.
The book of Daniel is all about Daniel. Daniel was a Jew, and when he was a young man, the king of Babylon, King Nebuchadnezzar, sent in his army to take over the land of Israel. They took some of the Jews back with them to Babylon, and the fittest and the strongest and the most handsome of the men, the king took into his palace to train up and to work for him. This included Daniel and some of his friends. Now, the people in Babylon didn't follow God, and they wanted the Jews to forget all about God and to become just like them. But Daniel and his friends wouldn't do it. There's some really famous stories in Daniel about how he and his 3 friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, refused to become like the Babylonians and stayed true to God, no matter what the consequences. Whether it was facing an angry king, jealous Babylonians, fiery furnaces, or roaring lions, loving and living for God was the most important thing. Daniel served 4 different kings of Babylon. He worked hard for them, and they thought that he did a good job. One of the kings, King Darius, liked Daniel so much that it made some of the other palace workers jealous. They wanted to get rid of Daniel. But they knew that the only way to do that was to get the king to make a law that would make Daniel have to choose between obeying the king or obeying God. And that would get him in trouble. The king made a law that everyone in the kingdom had to pray to him and only him, or be thrown into a den of lions to be eaten. Now, Daniel wanted to obey the king, but he knew that he couldn't pray to him. So he kept on praying to the one true God of the Bible. And sure enough, the jealous men caught him at it and told the king. Even though the king liked Daniel, he had to follow through with the punishment, and so he threw Daniel into the lions. But God rescued him and closed the mouths of the lions so they wouldn't eat him up. Daniel followed 4 important kings, but he never stopped following God. Whenever it came down to obeying God or the king, following God or being like everyone else, Daniel chose God every time. And though Daniel had to do some really hard things, God was always with him. Now, these stories about Daniel and his friends are just the first 6 chapters of Daniel. The second half is full of dreams and visions of what the future was going to be like. In chapter 7, we get a beautiful picture of this figure called the Son of Man. It's a picture of the one who is going to come and bring in God's kingdom.
A key verse from the book of Daniel is Daniel chapter 7, verse 13. In my vision at night I looked, and there before me was one like the Son of Man, coming with the clouds of heaven. He approached the Ancient of Days and was led into his presence.
The rest of the book of Daniel is full of visions and dreams, some of which are very weird. There's beasts with 4 heads and 6 wings and all sorts of things. And they were dreams of the kingdoms that would come after the Babylonians. And how though each one would have power of their own for a time, only God's kingdom lasts forever.
What's the 27th book of the Bible?
Genesis,
Exodus,
Leviticus,
Numbers,
Deuteronomy,
Joshua,
Judges,
Ruth,
1 Samuel,
2 Samuel,
1 Kings,
2 Kings,
1 Chronicles,
2 Chronicles,
Ezra,
Nehemiah,
Esther,
Job,
Psalms,
Proverbs,
Ecclesiastes,
Song of Songs,
Isaiah,
Jeremiah,
Lamentations,
Ezekiel, Daniel.